All right, here we are, spawning in the bottom left in the red for B100 Esports. From Russia with love, he is Vanya.
And his opponent right now, teamless, but still, you know, proving himself here. DreamHack, he's the blue Protoss player. He's from France. It's ShaDoWn.
I think this is a player that Coca Authentique Pepe Pe needs to pick on up. Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe if he makes
Oh
the
man,
playoffs.
that name, I love saying that name. I need to like have it on the screen next to me to actually say it, but what is it? Coco Petite something else?
Coca Authentique Pepe Pe. And I'm sure my French accent is objectively terrible.
It's petite. Yeah. That's like small, right? It's the word for small they use. Yeah.
I don't know what
That's
Pepe
what I
Pe
know.
is. It's not
That's
petit.
petit.
No, it's
That's
Pepe Pe,
petit.
I think.
Is it?
Yeah.
Sounds like some sort of food. Man, the French, they have a weird, mysterious language, don't they? Anyway.
Well, you know, okay.
They have
so,
words that means all sorts of things. All right, what's going on here? Wait a moment. Yeah, it's pretty standard opening, right? Everything's normal here.
Everything is normal. Everything is as it should be, right? We got the interesting thing here, actually, Vanya, he is taking the more aggressive third base location, which, hey, do you like the Waltz of Queens? Do you like watching them waddle across maps?
Yeah, I think, you know what, with those speed zones, you do have a little bit of extra momentum, right, to make up for this elongated size of this map. And with this creep spread, as you mentioned, yeah, that's a good point to make. He has a little bit of an extra opportunity to make that happen.
Yeah, and man, ShaDoWn, he is going for a Stargate opener, which, I don't know, going the standard Stargate opener. We're still going to have to see what he does, whether this is, you know, Stargate into double Stargate 353rd, whatever, whether he does something that's a little bit, you know, a little bit change in things, a little bit of a switch, whether he goes for, I don't know, quick +1 error, later third base, whatever he decides to do, going for something like that against a player that is arguably one of the most aggressive Zergs.
Game paused.
Against what is arguably one of the most aggressive Zergs in the in DreamHack Europe. You know, Bly is there as well. Well, I don't know. That seems like it's a little bit ballsy there. As well, he's gonna have to. We know Vanya's gonna go for some sort of Roach Ravager, Queen, something. And I don't know. Maybe he feels comfortable holding it. He did after all just 2-1 Bly. But anyways, looks like we're gonna get back into this game in a second. But yeah, I don't know. That seems a little ballsy.
It's yeah. I mean, we'll have to see. Maybe he has something else planned. Sometimes those void rays can still help out quite a bit, but we'll see. Looks like things have gotten started again. Nope. Never mind. ShaDoWn here having a couple of lag issues, but Vanya not having any apparently. So
yeah, we're just
that's
yeah, we're just gonna ping pong, right? Into the game,
good,
out of the game.
Good for us, right? In a way, it's good for us knowing that Vanya doesn't have legs, knowing that it's not one of us influencing this. So,
I mean, Roseanne, aren't we technically influencers, right? We sit here, we talk about the game.
In that sense, yeah.
Yeah, we're at, you know, I think we deserve more credit as influencers. I think absolutely we're sitting here, you know, it's fine, standing. But yeah, I'm glad we're not. Man, there's no worse feeling when you're casting an event that you're supposed to cast, and you know this happens to me with Korea more often than not, where you're like, yeah, this is gonna be great. We're gonna be really happy about this, and then you hit a lag storm to Korea, and it's like 2,000 milliseconds, and you're like, okay, well, I guess I got to do this from replay. Does not feel good, but that's not what we have here.
Yep.
And we don't need Emil lagging out. He's fine as well, so it's not him.
Should be okay. I mean, there is a lot of people in these lobbies, right? There is actually, well, yeah, there's 8 people in total. It's not as much as I've seen before, but it's still a couple. All right, looks like we are setting up to go again. Game is resuming.
Yep, I'm gonna need you to hold the fort down for like half a second. Need to change the battery in my headphones, but
All right. Yep. All right, we'll do. We've got a little adept pressure coming up here with an Oracle follow-up. Vanya, let's hope he doesn't take too much damage from these two adepts. We've seen that he does have some times when he struggles with this. As we saw before, Cristiano really taking the opportunity here, and it looks like it might be happening again. 5 drones just like that. The third base here, location kind of open and exposed. Those 2 queens just not enough with the 2 lings added in as well. So hold back to adepts, and that is a rough thing indeed here. An opening for ShaDoWn that is working out in his favor so far. Yeah, not just getting those 5 drones, but the 2 Zerglings and a creep tumor as well. With just 2 adepts, not losing a single one of them. Looking very, very fine.
But hey, now
gotta be careful not to let them in, though.
Yeah, we have a couple Zerglings here. And the 1 adept will go down at the very least. As I think you said, Kozan, just a second ago. You kind of need, it's 2 production cycles of Zerglings, or 2 eggs of Zerglings to deal with 1 adept. So you want 6, you want 8 there to deal with 2 adepts. And 2, 4 Zerglings and a queen, it's not going to be nearly enough there. So Vanya already taking some damage. And if you remember the games against Cristiano that we saw earlier, Vanya, he lost those games where he did take damage like this. But look at this. We have a stats build coming on, and this is not your double Stargate play that we have seen at Infinitum all throughout today. No, it's going to be glazed. How do you feel about that?
I like it, especially with that third base as well being popped up. I'm expecting that to kind of be a fake out in a sense. We're not seeing any extra probes being built, prepping to take it. Oh wait, there are more probes now. So yeah, I'm wondering how it... there's only 4 gateways, I suppose, as well. So it doesn't seem entirely committed, but it would need to do some damage if he decides to get a couple of warping rounds of adepts.
Yeah, that's what the stats build is, right? It's not committed, it's not all, well, it is committed, but it's not all in. You still get a third base, you still do whatever, and you only get 4 gateways, but you shade across the map with somewhere between 12, 16 adepts. You don't even have a robo. It's not like you're going to warp more in with a warp prism, and you just go. And the idea here is you say, yes, my Zerg opponent is skipping roaches, right? They're going straight to hydras, whatever, because I've opened Stargate. But there's a reason this build was really powerful like 3 months ago, and it is not nearly as powerful now.
Game paused.
Don't tell me Vanya's now having issues as well.
I don't think nerves
Wait,
are
oh my.
valid pause.
Nervous. Well, hold up. I'm a little bit nervous, guys. I don't know what's going to happen in this game of StarCraft 2. I could slow it down just a moment for me. All right.
We're back. They're just making me bounce in and out of game here.
Yeah.
Okay,
it's funny as well that he asked his opponent to pass the game for him, and now ShaDoWn doesn't have any passes remaining. If he needs to pass, he can't anymore.
Yep.
Game resumed.
All right. By the way, I've seen the best description of what we are. Right now, it's a brown-haired Daniel Radcliffe and that one kid from drama class.
Wow. Okay.
Okay.
Just keep stabbing me in my heart, guys. Please.
Well, you know it's going to stab Vanya in his heart here. It is a bunch of adepts going to find their way on into the main base, but there are a lot of roaches here, so not too many workers go down yet. I think the Oracle pretty much unsuccessful, and I kind of think I prefer here ShaDoWn just targeting down workers. Says, yeah, you know what? I can fight the roaches, sure, whatever. But the goal here is to knock down the economy, and there we go. Now we're starting to see some damage done here. It's never the 14, right? It's always the 2, and 9 workers will go on down. Vanya now only on 39 workers. And you know what? I don't know how much Vanya cares, to be totally honest here, because what we were talking about before we were so rudely interrupted by the needed pause, Vanya, he's going to go for a queen walk, right? He's going to go for roaches, queen ravagers, all that fun stuff, and that is the big reason why these adept builds are not nearly as good as they used to be. Oh, well, there's a wall open, never mind. Actually, never mind, that just says what I was trying to say anyways. Point being, when your opponent is rushing a bunch of roaches, a bunch of ravagers, a bunch of queens, your build of I'm going to punish you for being greedy doesn't really work because the Zerg is not being greedy. So it kind of feels weird to see this build in this matchup here. Zerglings, they're now in the main base. The Adepts should be able to clean them up though, and losing all those Zerglings actually is not all that great here for Vanya. Yeah, he's got some roaches, yeah, he's got some ravagers, but there are immortals here. There are not a lot of queens across the map just yet. One of them is going to get knocked down immediately, and we're just not seeing the damage here from Vanya that we need just yet.
Yeah, he's getting some adepts right now, though. He's starting to whittle down that front door. And at third base, it only has a cannon there. Not that much protection. As long as the queens manage to waddle their way over, that should still be able to do a little bit of damage. Although, man, the forces of Vanya now being kind of bullied from the back, slowly losing their main punch.
Yeah, and man, with so many adepts here, with so many adepts here with glaives as well. I mean, the Zerglings that are getting rallied on in, they're not fighting the best here, but it looks like most of the adepts are getting targeted on down. 12 workers have died in the third base, but ShaDoWn, he's still up 13 workers. As long as he survives, that's all he needs to do. He's going to be in such a powerful position here, and it looks like Vanya, he is giving up on this for the time being. Yes, the last of that rally is coming on in, as he's going to do what he can to knock this third base down. He actually looks like he will be successful here with the Biles. Or not, you got to kill that third base, Vanya. But no, he's just, you know what, your army's out of position here. I forced you to defend a third base that you could not defend. I'm going to get your immortals, I'm going to get your army, and I'm going to get the base anyways. What a better trade there for Vanya. I was looking at this, I'm like, yeah, ShaDoWn's got the hold. He is forced back. But no, Vanya actually gets the damage he needs at the end of the day.
Yeah, nice opportunity there, spotted, and a good surround with those links, being able to pin them down and just finish them off afterwards. Has to be a little bit wary here, as there is still somewhat of a Protoss force on its way now. But with 6 more roaches in the production, and how many queens does he have at home? Yeah, only 2 actually. I mean, he should be able to hold on overall. Getting that third was really big. Getting the immortals was really big, but I mean, he's still behind on workers. If ShaDoWn manages to reacquire that third base, and actually, than I thought would be going down.
Yeah, and one thing we got to remember here as we look at this game, when you go Mutatech, as Vanya has done, it's a very tempo-based game, right? It's not a game where you can go and just play the game like you normally would and just win a straight-up fight. It is a game where you have to, inevitably, you will go into a base trade. So I think it's interesting we don't have +1 melee on the way here, but it is a game where eventually the Protoss is going to be able to build an army, or is going to be able to build an army that can actually deal with what you have, right? Mutas, they don't fight straight up. Maybe there was a time like 3 minutes ago where these mutas could fight the army of ShaDoWn straight up, but no longer here. And now the Archons, they're going to get a couple of juicy shots, but look at this. We just got a magic box here, but it's actually not all that magical at all. So many mutas will go down. So many will get damaged. But hey, the third base did die. Or the fourth base, excuse me, did die.
Yeah, again, good damage being found there by Vanya. He is setting up more and more of a scary position on his side of the map as well. He's on those 5 bases here. He is increasing his drone count still. Almost gonna be able to max out as well. He's swimming quite nicely, and ShaDoWn, it does seem like he's sinking a little bit right now. Oh, this could be big though. This could be quite big. Those Mutalisks, I'm not sure if they want to commit that deep into this Protoss base.
Well, yes and no, right? So we have +2 grounded, +2 ranged on the way. There are a lot of Phoenix here, and yeah, we have a fleet beacon on the way. It's continuing Phoenix production.
Roaches as well.
I'm wondering here whether, yeah, I think this is it. Vanya, he's just sacrificing for as much as he can get here. The mutas will eventually go down, whatever. There's a fleet beacon on the way. So he's going to knock down every single one of these Phoenix because they're on +0. The mutas are on +1. Not even all the mutas go down. And now, well, look what Vanya's building behind this. He's building 24 roaches. He says, look, my mutas have gotten more than enough value in this game. I don't need any more. It's now time for me to go to a fully ground-based composition, and you have so much that's trying to deal with these mutas that you can't deal with my massive Roach Ravager.
Yeah, during the Muta battle, there was a Roach Ravager battle as well, combating the Gateway forces here at the third base, and already taking out a big portion of whatever the French player here had on the ground. And now with that quicker remaxing and quicker production of Zerg, Vanya comes in, and it looks like he's going to be able to take this with just more Phoenix on that production time. There it is, yeah. That is GG being called. Vanya takes game number 1.
That he does. I do apologize. It looks like the stream went down for like half a second, but we should be back now. I had 2 blips. I'm not... well, I don't know. What I do know, though, is Vanya, he did take game number 1. I really like that tech switch tower. He's like, yeah. I took some damage. Sure, that's fine. I can deal with that. I'm just going to swap. I'm going to go to mutas. I'm going to force you to do a massive commitment to anti-muta tech because you're just not prepared for it, right? You don't have You don't have Phoenix, you don't have double Stargate, you don't have Blink. You really need to commit to this. And then I'm just going to, well, I'm going to stay on that for a little bit just to convince you that I'm absolutely staying on Mutatech here. But behind this, we're getting +2 range. We're getting a lot of Roaches, a lot of Ravagers. And through paper cuts, Vanya is able to open up a gaping wound and eviscerate ShaDoWn in that game number 1.
Yeah. Yeah, just continuous pressure and nice follow-ups as well, right? Things that lead well into the other ones. So coming in on the ground, then the Mutalisk, then the ground again. Yeah, very difficult to counter that and very difficult to kind of keep up with that pace when you're already bleeding a little bit. When you've already sustained damage, it becomes very difficult to kind of keep up with those transitions and, yeah, actually able to trade favorably overall, which is what you need to do once you take damage, right?
Yeah, and again, this is Vanya to a T, right? He is a he is by default, right, an extremely aggressive Zerg. He's a tempo-based Zerg. He's not like a Serral or a Rogue who's gonna say, yeah, I'm totally comfortable in the late game if we get it there, whatever. He's very much a player that doesn't want to let his opponent get there in an even spot. Think more like a DRG, like a mid-game Zerg, except maybe even more aggressive. And well, it worked out for him in that game, but we also saw in the games in the Christianer games, well, didn't quite work out for him quite as well. And well, we are going to get Blackburn here for our second game, which is interesting, right? I hear some people say, yeah, it's a really good Zerg map here for Protoss, and then I have some Protoss players picking that map against Zerg because they're like, yeah, 2-base carrier, or I take the third base that's away from you, and it's a trap that you're falling into to try to make something happen. Yeah, so that's what we're gonna have here. Blackburn, I don't know. I think it favors Vanya just because it does allow for those queen pushes a little bit. And Vanya, he's an aggressive Zerg. There are some really nice Nidus positions as well. But ShaDoWn, he absolutely can make this happen. All right, he absolutely can. I believe there is a feather that he can pull out of his hat that maybe makes him take this game.
For sure. I mean, he's in DreamHack for a reason, right? All these players here, they are very strong players indeed, and the tippy top spear of StarCraft 2 talent. Well, anyway, introducing one of those players, the blue Protoss in the bottom left side. It's the French Protoss, indeed, ShaDoWn.
And his opponent here in the bottom right, in the red, taking game number 1 in style for B100 Esports. He is Vanya. And we were talking about this a little bit out of game, but Blackburn is an interesting map, right? It's kind of in the idea of a golden wall, right? Where it's a horizontal map instead of a vertical map, but it's not quite as island focused. I mean, there is that kind of lower island that sometimes you see like a probe get dropped for a Nexus, but it's not quite as island focused. But on the flip side, it's really cool in that it's a big map and a small map at the same time, right? To start, the map feels pretty small. Rest distance, natural to natural, not all that long. Third base to third base, though, much longer. And then once you start expanding vertically, once the rocks go down, the map gets really big. And we've seen some incredible late game matchups in this map, in ZVP, in ZVT as well, assuming you can get past that early stage where some aggression is very powerful, right? It is a short natural to natural rush distance, and there is plenty of room for you to get a good siege up with queens, with tanks, whatever type of siege you want to make happen.
Yeah, definitely all true. And we're looking at what other possibilities are being laid out so far. Of course, just the regular setups. And what I always like to see is with those slow zones, of course, it's a lot easier to have the defense against the air units as well. Quite often you do see people trying things that would normally work in regular bases, but then going in with Mutalisk from that angle and then trying to retreat afterwards into the same direction. Stuff like that becomes suddenly not as doable anymore because of those slow zones.
Yeah,
and we do have a Stargate on the way.
We do. Stargate into Warp Gate, and I'm actually really happy. We've seen players like Vanya, players like Bly, Rogue as well, when he's feeling a little cheesier, start to mess around with taking their natural in the gold, but I don't know. It just never seems like it works, right? You send 2 adepts behind the mineral line. It's so early. It's so far away from your natural that it just doesn't seem to be worth all that much. And I'm glad to see Vanya not falling into that trap, right? I think we're going to get a much better game if we don't just see, yeah, I take the gold. 12 workers. Oh, well, they can't mine. Crap. And
it's a very easy counterplay, as you say, right?
Yeah.
Those 2 adepts, and it's just like, what do? You wait for speed to complete. You need maybe a couple extra links because your queens can't quite help out with the fight, and yeah, it's a mess.
Yep. Now, Vanya is aware that this is going to be a Stargate, right? He did see that warp gate did not get started until like 2:27, 2:30, which is again the timing that does say that it's tech before warp gate, and 99 times out of 100 that will be Stargate. There is the rare build that we see coming out of some players that like, yeah, it's actually a robo, and I'm going to be stupid aggressive, or super aggressive, excuse me. But not in this game, and that's really not in the meta here. That's not something I would expect out of ShaDoWn. As there we go. This is a 340 third base. This is even faster than the normal one. And Vanya, he's got some Zerglings here. And with only 1 Adept and 1 Void Ray, are there enough Zerglings here to make this happen? No, there are not. Vanya will be forced back, and ShaDoWn will get away with his 10 seconds of greed.
Yeah, I mean, it's no Serral move there. It just wasn't enough Zerglings coming in to make that happen. Vanya, he is just droning up though, on the other hand.
That's what I thought. So,
Fleet Beacon.
Yeah,
interesting.
This is a version 2 of the Zest build. We talked about Zest's +1 2 base carrier build, right? That he actually did on this map, was the first map I saw him do it on. But there is a variance where it's like, it's 3 base, extremely greedy 3 base carrier build here. And it relies on the fact that once again, you will have a couple carriers out by the time the Roach Queen push happens, and it kind of baits the Zerg into a Roach Queen push, because look, the third base went down at 344, right? That's even faster. That's gotta be a Void Ray timing, especially considering you've shown Void Rays. But that's not, these are carriers, they're on the way before 5 minutes, and given enough time here, 2 carriers should be able to deal with these speeds. Now this Void Ray does not want to go down, and it will. So that's a problem. You do need that Void Ray to establish the map control, to really to scout at the very least. But we do have carriers on the way. They're about halfway done, which means by 5:45 we will have 2 carriers on the map. Your +1's on the way as well. And Vanya is well aware of what's happening here. He's run into this enough. Look, we got a Hydra Den on the way, Roach Speed on the way. He's gonna hit that 3 base, maybe even a 4 base timing off of 6 gas. And Hydras, they are the way you deal with these really early carriers.
Yeah, before they get too big in numbers, of course, then you might be able to just kind of still run in there, snipe off enough interceptors to minimize that damage, and then once you're underneath them, they go down quite quickly. And if you only have 3 of them, right? If you kill 1 of them, that is what, 33% of your damage output.
And look how
immediately gone.
Look how greedy this was from ShaDoWn. I mean, yes, he did lose a Void Ray, so he didn't expand off of like just 2 units, but he expanded off of 2 Adepts and a Void Ray, and he got his third base all the way up. Like, that is, I don't know, as someone who plays Zerg, that just makes me a little sad. I'm like, you shouldn't be able to do that. But he did. Now he has 2 carriers out on the map, and this is what you want to see, right? Step 1, get your fast carriers. Get your +1, establish your third base, whatever. Step 2, put pressure on the map. Make it so that the Zerg cannot just comfortably drone up to whatever they want to do, get all the Hydras that they want to get, and just go across the map and crush you. You need to buy time to get up to 4-6 carriers, to get up into +1, to get up into Void Ray speed, as appears that is what ShaDoWn is going for here. And just making it so impossible for the eventual push here from Vanya to really get anything done. That being said, we have no Storm on the way, we have no Splash on the way. Hydras are rather good when it's just straight DPS versus DPS.
Yeah, it's interesting that we're seeing the Void Ray speed as well being constructed at the same time. It almost makes me wonder if he's expecting Corruptors to be added in here anytime soon. Although he's not making any Void Rays, it might just be as a way to, you know, once he starts the battles and stuff, to get quicker reinforcements rather than carriers. The Void Rays build a lot quicker, of course.
And okay, so 1 carry will go down immediately, but look, he's sitting here on the dead airspace now. He's like, yeah, I'm willing to spend my interceptors to trade off some of your army. So there we go. All the interceptors are dead. That would be fine if a carrier had not died too, which is the big problem here. Look at your production tab goes in. Tell me what you see.
That's a nice catch. Another carrier right there going down. Those are big catches. This is this could be a lot of trouble here for ShaDoWn. He has a nice cannon forest here, but missing another one.
You want 6 carriers to make this hold happen. You really do not want 3. But look at this. We have Tempests on the way. Tempests are not. I mean, yeah, they're sustained DPS. They stay out of range of the Hydras, but I don't know how much faith I have in that. Is now the Hydras, they say, yeah, you have shield battery, you got all your static defense in the third base. Well, I can just go fight in the natural. That being said, though, the carriers, they're sitting strong, and actually this is what we got to look at here. There are 11 interceptors still on the map here, and there are still enough queens to make the transfusions happen. More and more Hydras running on in. The wall is now down, which means the Hydras, one Tempest is going to barely stay alive, as it's going to look to sit here in the dead airspace, maybe eventually kill off this army. But the Hydras, they have +1 armor. They say, look, we already do enough damage. We don't care about that. We just need to make sure we survive against this +1 air. It looks like one Tempest did go down. No, it didn't. But now we have the Hydras, the Queens, the Lings. They're sitting here in the natural. The natural has been broken. Okay, what do we have? Depths on into the natural and the third base as well. Getting some counter damage here from ShaDoWn, but I'm not convinced it's going to be enough. As another Tempest is going to go. This Tempest is on 5 HP.
Right, yeah, Vanya really wiggling his way into this main base now, depowering those, well, at least one of those Stargates for a little bit. Wants to try and get rid of them. Carriers coming in from the other side. The Tempest definitely, you know, slowly getting some kind of value, but it's just not enough DPS, right? The Hydras aren't being killed quickly enough. There's more Hydras coming in than these Tempests are actually killing. And that is feeling like the end of times here, kind of for ShaDoWn. I really like that Vanya just never went into the third base, decided, you know what, I'm just not gonna deal with this. If I go into the natural and then the main base, you're gonna lose anyway, regardless of how well defended your third is.
Yeah, I was looking at that for a second. I'm like, yeah, look, ShaDoWn got 14 workers. He has a worker lead. If he gets enough out here that he can kill off everything in his main base, maybe he's got a shot, right? He still has 3 bases. He's got a worker lead. He has an arguable tech lead. But no, now all of the Stargates are going down. A lot of Tempests have died. We have another... Where are these Stargates? Oh, we have Stargates at the third base. Interesting. So we have carriers on the way, even as the fleet being does go down. So the carrier that is being made is the last one that is here. And yes, ShaDoWn is expanding away from this. He is taking his gold. He does still have 2 bases here. And yes, the Tempest cannot really be fought here by these Hydras unless they make a misstep. But still, the main base, the natural has died. The main base is going down. We're seeing so much tech die here. But yes, we have more Stargates on the way. All that fun stuff. But I don't know. ShaDoWn is trying. He's giving it his level best here. He understands that this match is super important for him. But I'm not really sure what he's supposed to do here.
I don't think there's a whole lot you can do, right? You have this carrier Tempest force. I suppose you just want to keep trading with the Tempest, but look at the amount of bases Vanya has on right now. It's starting to get up to 5. Doesn't have that many drones overall, but it's more than enough in comparison to what ShaDoWn has to kind of just keep going at it like this.
I mean, in all fairness to ShaDoWn, he does have 3 bases somehow. He's sitting on 2.5. He's about to have 3 bases. He is mining from the gold. He does have +1 air. Like, he is able to build stuff, but here's the thing, right? We have 12 corruptors on the map. We have 3 more on the way. +1 air attack is on the way here. And this army that ShaDoWn is relying on, well, it can defend itself on top of these cannons and shield battery. Sure, it cannot defend itself outside of this third base. That's actually just getting surrounded. And there should be enough carriers here to knock this down. But the Zerglings, they're going to try to sell out. Actually, no, this base is going to go down as the rest of the Zerglings. No, just barely not enough. I thought he had enough there, but anyway, now we have the corruptors. They're going to dive on in. All these capital ships, they are massive units. They're just going to go on down. And there goes the army here, really, of ShaDoWn. Everything that he's been relying on, that's it. GG. ShaDoWn, he falls down. Vanya takes the 2-0 and stays alive.